Back here, Money, Marriage, and Media, and we're back with another review or another clip. This time we're talking about money. And now this is an important conversation because there's no way you're going to maintain a marriage or relationship without at some point having tough conversations about money. So who we're looking at today, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. And yes, that brother specifically named his channel something that long, and he did it on purpose. So we're going to call him MTR for short, right? So today I had to dig deep back in his archive because at one point, you know, he spent more time. He made more videos talking about finances, but I mean, realistically, it's YouTube, and I understand the fact that most of you guys and gals are not going to pay attention to finance videos. It's just what it is. But we need to put them out here because at some point we're going to start referencing these videos. So that's why we got to have it there as part of the base conversation. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this clip. Without further ado, right? Let's get it going.
Here's where I think, especially our culture, here's where I think we suffer. If you get a promotion, if you start making more money, just because you start making more money does not mean you need to start spending more money. Let me tell you guys a brief story. I got two quick stories for you. Let me tell you a brief story. When I was leaving undergrad, right, I was making my first job at a undergrad. I remember this, the offer letter was $46,000 a year. I was working for a Fortune 100 company, and that's what they offered me. I was 22 years old, started making money. And it wasn't in a big city, it was in a tier 2 city.
Key point here, most guys in their early 20s, they're not making that kind of income. That's a little abnormal, but we're going to keep going. And again, well, let's just keep going.
And the rent at the time that I was paying, well, in a spot that I found, and it was a dope spot, it was $900 a month. And I know a lot of you people in, you know, big cities like, what, $900 a month? Yeah, it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. I'm talking like 15-foot high ceilings. It was nice.
I'm glad he addressed that because, again, location matters. And at some point, we're going to have a conversation about adjusting for cost of living, because that's something to keep an eye on too. But we're going to keep moving here.
Nice too. $900 a month. Now, I made sure throughout the time period that I was in that situation, I kept on paying $900 a month. And some of y'all might say like it doesn't matter, but like I was very friendly with the with the rental agency, and they kept it at $900 a month throughout the 3.5 years or so that I lived there. Anyway, after so I went on, and you know, being a purpose-filled, achievement-filled man that I am, I wanted to get my MBA, Master's of Business Administration. I apologize for the acronym. So I went off and I got my MBA. And when I graduated, I was able to get a job which more than doubled my salary, right? Now, take a guess at what range that I was looking to spend on the new rent, even though I doubled my salary. $900 a month. That's what I was paying.
Smart man. Keep your expenses low. Okay, let's go.
Coming out of grad school, because although I was making more money, I did not want to double my expenses as well. Because although on paper you're generating more revenue, actually your profit is not. It is remaining constant. Think about the power of that, right? Because I could have doubled. I could have gotten an $1,800 a month crib. Now think about the power of that. I had credit cards that needed to be paid. That was now no problem. I had student loans that had to be paid. That was now no problem. And I had a car note that needed to be paid. No problem. I have expenses that need to be paid, and it's no problem. What I'm trying to tell you is that you need to be focused on minimizing your expenses so you can maximize your life, financial life.
Okay, so look, we're gonna I don't need to hear anymore because that's enough of the conversation right there. Now, what he said, there is some key factors here. Number one, it increasing your income, right? I know that's important, but that's not the most important thing here. I say that first because we all have seen these videos where people are giving financial advice and it always seems to be surrounded around, well, just go make more money. And it's like all your financial problems are being resolved. No, that's not the case. Look, we talked about that in one of our other videos about net worth, and I'm gonna insert a card here. Go back and check out that video because there we talk about what's the real tool for measuring your success with your finances. It's not income. Okay, I can't stress that enough, right? So what he's talking about here is actually a part of that conversation when you want to talk about how you're gonna build wealth. Okay, well, wealth is measured by net worth, and how do you do that? One of the basic things is keeping your expenses low as your income starts to go up. So what do we? And he gave some prime examples: maintaining low rent. That's a big one because one of the biggest expenses you're gonna have within your budget is rent or a mortgage, and maintaining a low cost of that allows you to do other things. So many times, I spent 5 years working in financial services. So many times, the number one excuse why people can't do something is, well, I just don't have enough money for that. Okay, yeah, then you need to make some better decisions. And hey, look, I fall in that boat too. But the reality is that this is so important. That's why I wanted to highlight this video today, because we don't, in our community, we very seldom have discussions about self-discipline when it comes to finances. So particularly, we've got to start having more conversations about setting financial goals and what we're willing to do to sacrifice, or what are we willing to do, or what are we willing to sacrifice in order to get there, to get to said goals. Home ownership, that's important to you. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get there? Is it worth you not buying new shoes? Is it worth you not going out to eat, going out on dates, hanging out on the weekends? Is it worth you picking up a second job? That might be the difference there, But there's lots of ways to earn extra income. But remember, the most important thing is not the income; it's what you do with it. Okay, so look, we're not going to go for much longer here. Let's start the clip again. We'll see what he's talking about next. But I think we might go ahead and hang this up, and I'm gonna wrap up with a big summary here.
Life, and when you do that, when you have more money coming in, you can then flip that and invest that in a way where later on you're setting yourself later on in life to be able to do more things with your money and get out that class that you were in. And this very basic foundation is the reason why we have so many people that look like us that can't get out of the wealth bracket that they're in.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to leave it there. But to summarize, what's the most important thing here is you're going to have to make sacrifices for where you want to be in life. If you want to, because he talked about moving up in an economic status or economic class, well, that's going to require some sacrifice on your part. You're not going to be able to wear, fancy clothes. You still need a suit. I highly recommend that, but you don't need 5 of them to get started. And you're going to have to adjust your lifestyle to make sure that you're saving. Everybody's heard this before, and I don't know why we have such a hard time living it out, but you're supposed to pay yourself first. Now, paying yourself first doesn't mean you go and buying stuff, right? Or increasing your expenses so that your life is more convenient. I mean, this brother just talked about how he lived in an apartment that was $900 a month. Now, of course, you got to adjust for inflation today, but that means that you need to be paying yourself as far as setting up an emergency fund and getting out of debt. That's what pay yourself first really means. To say you got to take care of those things first. And he did mention those in the video. I'm glad he mentioned those in the video too, because a lot of times we will refuse to have those conversations. I'm going to definitely be making a video about debt and what the things to avoid in order to make sure that you're actually building you're actually building wealth and not just borrowing it. Because I don't care what people tell you, you can't borrow your way to financial freedom. That just doesn't exist. It doesn't work like that. But look, we're going to leave it here. Check out Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. You might have to dig a little bit to get to the finance conversations, but I promise you they're in there. But all right, guys, I'm going to stay ghost till the next time. Peace.